Yes, Namaste my dear children. Today we are going with 9th standard first language English. So the first chapter of You People is the best advice I ever had. So before starting this lesson my dear children, I would like to tell you it's a very important lesson for our life my dear children. Why? Because see, first of all, before starting this chapter, I would like to give you just a small activity that if possible, just go through the works and the teachings or the sayings of Mahatma Gandhi ji, because it's very essential for our life also. And the second thing, here the main character is about Mrs. Vijayalakshmi Pandit. Okay, so if possible, go through the internet. In that, please try to search for Mrs. Vijayalakshmi Pandit. So I would like to introduce this chapter now. So what happens and what are the incidents? So the main character is Mrs. Vijayalakshmi Pandit ji. So she was born on the year 1900. Okay, and she was the sister of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru ji. I hope you all already know about our first Prime Minister of Indian country. He is none other than Jawaharlal Nehru ji. So his sister, she is Vijayalakshmi Pandit ji. So her life story we are studying here, and here the best advice I ever had. Here a person, the greatest person, our father of our nation, Shri Mahatma Gandhi ji gives a best advice for Vijayalakshmi Pandit ji. So what is that advice and what are those incidents? Come on my dear children, let's see. So here basically we come across three very important basic incidents in her life, Mrs. Vijayalakshmi Pandit ji's life. So what happens? The first incident was after her marriage, and after some years, what happens suddenly, because of some sort of health issues, her husband, Mrs. Vijayalakshmi Pandit's husband, passes away. So he dies away. And in those days, try to understand my dear friends, the situation in those days, a lady, if her husband passes away, in those days all the widowed girls or widowed ladies were seen in such a very problematic vision, say that they used to face so many difficulties in those days. That means it was always thought that if a lady's husband dies, then it is impure. That means it is the impurity of that girl. She did something bad. She had some curse. Because of that reason, her husband passed away. This was what the notion or the acceptance of the people mentality in those days. So I hope you are understanding. If I would like to tell you in Kannada, ಆಗಿನ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಗಂಡ ಸತ್ತರೆ ವಿಧವೆಯಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಮಗಳ ಅದು ಒಂದು ಶಾಪ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಆ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಇವರನ್ನ, ವಿಜಯಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ ಪಂಡಿತ್ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ತುಂಬ ತುಚ್ಛವಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ದೃಷ್ಟಿಕೋನದಿಂದ ನೋಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭಿಸಿದರು. ಸೊ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ರೀಸನ್ ಶಿ ಫೆಲ್ಟ್ ವೆರಿ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಶಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಟ್ರೈಡ್ ಟು ಆಸ್ಕ್ what we call that property, that she wanted to have the property of her husband by which she can lead her life very happily here itself in India. But in those days there was a law that only male heirs used to get the property, and not the female heirs, or the female, if female children are there, they never get any sort of property or the division of the property in their home itself. So because of this reason, in those days, in her husband's home, her in-laws or her brother-in-law or her father-in-law, mother-in-law, nobody entertained her. They didn't even give her a small piece of land also, property, to lead a peaceful life for her. So she had quarreled with them. So she had a small bitter discussion with them, and she got very much hurt because of that incident. So after this incident, she goes back to home, and there she writes a letter to Mahatma Gandhi ji by saying that now I would like to shift to United Nations, because here all these things happened. My husband passed away, and the members of my husband family, they didn't even respect me, and they didn't even give me a small piece of land or some sort of property which belonged to her husband, and I was sent away from their home. So she was in a very deep sorrow, and she wrote that letter to Mahatma Gandhiji. And that Mahatma Gandhiji, see, just try to understand, my dear friends, without any such type of good thoughts or the best thoughts, nobody can become the father of nation, right? So Mahatma Gandhiji, he replied for that letter by saying that he just went through that letter, he read that letter of Mrs. Vijayalakshmi Pandit, and Mahatma Gandhiji writes back to her that, see Vijayalakshmi Pandit, you are thinking very bad, don't think like this. Nobody can harm you unless you harm yourself. Once again I would like to tell you, my dear children, nobody can harm you unless you harm yourself. Yes, ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಯಾರೂ ಸಹ ಹಿಂಸಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಲೆಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ನೀವೇ ಹಿಂಸೆಗೆ ಒಳಗಾಗೋದ್ರ ತನಕ. ಅಂದರೆ ಈಗ ನಾವ್ಯಾರಾದರೂ ನಿಮಗೇನಾದರೂ ಬೈದರೆ ಅದು ಹಿಂಸೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮಗೆ ನೀವಾಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನೋ ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಹಿಂಸೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. So because of that reason Mahatma Gandhiji writes this letter, and when she reads this, that was the best advice she had. And he had also wrote there, please go to your father-in-law's home, take the blessings of all the people, even though they didn't give you the property, even though they didn't respect you, please go to them and ask for the apology for having such type of bitter discussion with them. Ask for the apology, and then after that you can go to the America and you do your work as usual, your works. So by hearing this, she at the beginning thought that why I should go and ask for the apology. But even though the great Indian, the greatest man on those days, Mahatma Gandhiji, he is telling means, so she was inspired by Mahatma Gandhiji also. So she went to her father-in-law's home, she asked for the apology, and after that she came back and she flew to America. So after going to America, this was a small article she wrote in one of the magazines. Okay, so after going to America, she literally was very happy because she had done her duty completely with perfection. Because even though her mistake was not there, she asked for the apology, and her mind accepted herself that I did my way, I did my work correctly and perfectly. So this was the first incident. So this was the best advice she had got from the Mahatma Gandhiji, and the same advice that you should also learn and implement or inculcate in your life also, my dear children, because it helps you a lot. Because forgiving others is never a gift for the person whom you are giving. Forgiving is always a gift for ourselves that we are giving for ourselves. So always try to forgive if somebody has hurted you, or if somebody has said something wrong things, or some bad words for you, or if somebody has deprived you because of after taking money or after taking something, if they didn't return you, please let it be, you just forgive them. After forgiving, you feel very happy and peace of mind in yourselves itself. Okay, so this is the first lesson. So second incident, what happens after some days, she was an Indian ambassador. So she had also worked in Soviet Union, so many other countries also. And once what happened, she was the leader of the debate. Okay, the debate in which the major part was, or the major subject was, in those days in South Africa, the Indian people, the people who are from the origin of Indian country, they were not respected in the South Africa. So this was the topic for that particular debate. And in that delegation, Mrs. Vijayalakshmi Pandit was the leader of that delegation, and she went to the United Nations for this debate. And while discussing, suddenly she got some enraged, or suddenly she got some angry, and she spoke some bitter words also for the opposition party. But suddenly, after finishing of that particular debate, she remembered the teaching of Mahatma Gandhiji that nobody can harm you unless yourself. So this, after hearing this, she went back there itself in front of the opposition leader who was standing in front of her. She went there and she asked for apology in front of him by saying that please forgive me if I have spoken anything wrong. So this gesture of her in that platform, in the United Nations platform, was reciprocated, and along with that it was appreciated, much appreciated by everyone, my dear children. So this was the second incident. After asking, even though her fault was not there, she gave very much importance for the relationship, humankind, human nature, human relationship. So she asked the forgiveness for that opposition leader, and she felt very happy after doing this. So this was the second incident. And the third incident was when she was staying in UK. Suddenly what happened, one day she invited the Prime Minister of the Great Britain and Lady Eden, okay, a lady of that particular Prime Minister. So both of them they went for the dinner to Mrs. Vijayalakshmi Pandit's home. So when they came to the home, they were sitting on the round table, dinner table, and at the first time when she asked for the dinner, the cook, he brought some sort of drinks and he gave the drinks for the first time. And the second time, once again, Mrs. Vijayalakshmi Pandit asks to serve the dinner, and that time also the same cook brings the drinks and he serves the drink again. So after serving the drinks for 2 times, she got very much enraged, she got very much angry on the cook, and she went inside the kitchen to see what had happened, why he is not serving the food. This much of time it went away, passed away, why he is not serving the food. So she suddenly went into the kitchen and she saw there that the cook had already drunk and he had fallen there. That means he had not even have that type of consciousness to prepare the food. So no dinner was prepared yet. So suddenly she got angry on that cook, but she suddenly remembered, no one can harm you unless yourself. The best advice she had ever got from the Mahatma Gandhi ji. So she, instead of getting enraged, instead of getting angry and sacking that particular person from the job, throwing out from that particular cook from the job, what she did, she only started cooking some sort of little bit small amount of food, and she cooked and she served, and happily they laughed and they spent their time, and then that the Prime Minister of the UK, he went away from her home. So this was the third incident. So in all of these incidents, he always tried to remember that particular situation or the particular sentence of the Mahatma Gandhi ji, that no one can harm you unless yourself. So my dear children, what is the life lesson that we can learn from this particular chapter? The best advice I ever had is, see my dear children, nobody can, once again I would like to tell you, nobody can harm you unless you harm yourself. So try to maintain the peace of mind, try to maintain the peace, completely calm, be completely calm, and never react for the other person who is doing mistake, because at his level he might be doing mistake because he doesn't know what to do. But if we know what we have to do, then we should never get angry. And one more thing I would like to tell you, if you get angry on somebody else, it shows you that you are weak in your emotions. Yes, so never get angry, aram se, coolly try to handle all the situation. I hope you have already watched M S Dhoni movie, right? So you also like M S Dhoni very much, right? Why? Because M S Dhoni was such a wonderful, cool captain. I hope you know this name for him, that is cool captain. He was always termed as cool captain, right? So please try to keep yourself calm, please try to keep yourself cool, and try to observe all the things with a perfectly calm mind, peaceful mind. And once again I would like to tell you, nobody can harm you unless yourself. Okay, I hope you have understood this chapter, my dear friends. Once again we will meet in the next chapter. Until that, take care, and please don't waste your time, use this precious time. I would like to tell you this much, and I would like to conclude. Once again my dear friends, I would like to tell you that I love you all, I love you all, I love you all. Thank you very much, and we will meet in the next chapter once again. Love you my dear friends. Dhanyawadaha.